Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video I'm going to explain scale command in AutoCAD. Now scale can be used in many purposes. The one that I'm explaining here will be for unit conversion in AutoCAD. Now it can be used to scale things. Now sometimes not the scale that we're talking about, I mean the 1:1 to 100, those things, no. Sometimes you draw an object and the person is asking you, could you please just enlarge the object, for example, make it bigger, make it double of the size. I mean, this is simple. It happens when you're working with the customers, not while you're drawing, because when you draw, why would you draw something then use a scale to make it bigger? You will directly do it as the big size in the beginning. You got my point, yes? So that's why I'm not focusing on the case that when you have an object, then you will enlarge it. No, or make it smaller. If you understand how the unit conversion works, it's basically the same idea. You can use it to rescale objects, make it smaller or make it bigger. For example, you drew this triangle for your customer, and the customer said that, can you please make this one triple size? So it means that this, if it's 10, make it 30. You don't need to redraw or delete this one and redraw it. Imagine this is a simple object. Yes, we're talking about engineering drawings. You may have bigger things, you may have bigger and complicated cases. You cannot just simply start from scratch. You can just simply use this scale to double the size, triple the size. That's it. You just need a base point and a scale. The 3 times will be bigger, or for example, if it's smaller, it will be point. It will be less than 1. So I only know this scaling here. We'll just discuss this one. The scale for bigger, if it's bigger, so we have 2. The scale that we were working here, we'll work with it. It will be whether greater than 1 or it will be smaller than 1. So if it is smaller than 1, it means that you will make the object smaller. If the scale that we have here, this is the scale, because scale command will ask you scale. If the scale is smaller than 1, means you will make the object smaller. It's for making smaller. You'll make smaller. If you go for this one, it's basically for making it bigger objects. That's the idea of scaling. We're going to show it to you simple way, but I'm focusing on the unit conversion. Let's say that we still have base point there. Let's say I drew this one, yes, I drew this one, and I want to scale it to something else. Let's say the guy is asking me, can you just simply double the size of this drawing that you have it? Everything will double size it. Everything will double size it. So what will you do? We have in the modifying toolbar, look, if I knew the double size in the beginning, I would draw with double size. Yes, that's the point of, you're not gonna see this one use that scaling too much. So I can just simply, this is the scale command. Again, scale work the same way. We'll ask you select objects. Yes, I can select all the objects that I have it here, then hit enter. Then ask me specify base point. Base point is a place that it will remain the same before and after, same as rotate. It's the point that will remain the same before and after. It'll ask me specify base point. Let's say I want this center to remain the same place. I'll click on this one. So it will ask me, like, it became big and smaller. As if I go away, you will see that, for example, this became big and bigger. It will ask me why. It will say specify scale factor. The scale factor here, if I want to, for example, enlarge it double of the size, so I have to just write 2. 2 means we're doubling the size. Just hit enter. You'll see it became doubled. This one, the radius was the radius, so you can check in this way. I'm checking the radius here. The radius of this one, drew it with 10, now became 20. So it doubled the size of it. It doubled the size of the drawing. I could make it smaller, yes. So let me just Control Z to bring it to the, if I can bring it back to the, yes. Now this was the original one. Let's say this time I'm selecting the object, then I will click on scale. That's also possible. It will directly go for what? For base point. So this is the base point, let's say. It's the base point. This time for the scale factor, I will write 0.5. 0.5 means that you are making it smaller. I mean half of the original one. The original was 10, let's say the big one in the middle, circle in the middle. The radius was 10. If I use a scale factor 0.5, it will multiply all the dimension by 0.5. Let's say this is the easiest way to know it. I'll multiply all the dimension by 0.5. In the other one, when we say scale factor 2, it multiplied all the dimension by 2 because it doubled them. This one will make it half. So multiply all the dimension by 0.5. So 10 times 0.5, the small one now became 5. Why? Because 10 times 0.5 will be 5. You see it here, 5. This one was 5. 5 times 0.5, it becomes 2.5. This is one way that we can use a scale, which is not my aim here. My aim is to use a scale for unit conversion. So there is a rescaling here. There is an object that you can use it. It's a rescaling. But my aim is unit conversion. Now, here you will understand the units that I always say that, okay, you will set your units in the drawings before for printing or before sending it to anyone. You will set your units in order for people to understand. Now, let's say we have this drawing here. Let's say we have this drawing here. Let's say what unit we used here. By the way, this is 5. Let's say that the radius of this one is 5. This 5 could be anything, yes? If we go for unit, UN, let's say that, now it's inches, but remember, it doesn't matter. I can say that, okay, the drawing that I drew it, the shape that I drew it, the dimension, they are meters. What does that mean? Like if I do this, press OK, nothing changes, yes? When I'm sending this one to any person, the first thing they will check is what? They will just simply type UN and they will see the units. Okay, meters. So they know that this one, they know that this radius, which is 5, it is 5 meters. It's 5 meters. If I choose any unit, for example, let's say that before sending it to anyone, I will choose this one to be centimeter. Press OK. Then I'm saving the file and sending it to someone. When the person is checking, he will go for unit. He'll say, okay, this guy used centimeter for drawing. So when he is checking or she's checking the drawing that I have, it is centimeter. So we'll check the dimension of this one. Say, okay, the dimension of this circle is 5. So this is 5 centimeter. 5 centimeter. You got my point. It doesn't matter what unit you're using it in the beginning. You can just simply change it in any time during the drawing. The important thing is before sending it to anyone, it's very important to set the unit, because when you send it to someone, they will check the units, and according to that they're gonna use it for to create the part, or to use it to whatever the aim of the drawing will be for. Now, I'm not sure if I told you that NASA lost $125 million just by units. Misunderstanding between the company that had designed one of the, I think those satellites for the Mars something. I'm not sure which one was it, but I just read the story. They lost $100 million just because of the units. The company who designed it, they just simply I don't know, in the drawing basically it was in a metric system, international system, and they send it to NASA. Since they're working in the imperial system, so they imagine that it's basically, I don't know, they saw it or somehow misunderstanding between the units, and they designed it, the orbit, whatever was it, and it just simply failed. Why? Because of the units. So you might not realize it, how important it is, but when you're sending it to someone, they will check your units. Imagine you're drawing something for someone, it should be for example, centimeter, but you chose it millimeter, so the sign will be smaller, and they will not question your units because you did that one. So the problem happens not within the same metric unit system. Why? Because let's say that I'm asking you to draw a door for me. I mean, let's say this is the door that you draw it. Let's say that this is the door that you draw it. Now, I'm engineers, I'm expecting this door, the dimension of the door to be what? Let's check the dimension. Let's say I'm checking this dimension. The dimension you have it here for this door, from here till here. Let's say this is 12. This is 12. I mean 12, it cannot be meter, yes? 12 meter. So make this one a bit smaller to be a bit more logical. Let's say I'm drawing something in more logical way. Let's say we have a door like this. And if I measure this dimension here, for example, the height of the door, that's still a lot. Let's bring it. Maybe this will be better. Okay. Let's say it's you draw it in this way, 2.66. Now I'm expecting this door, the height of the door, this dimension to be meter, yes? Because what kind of door it will be? 2 centimeters. Even if I check your unit, now I'm saying that your unit is centimeter. I know that you made a mistake here because it's impossible this door to be 2 centimeter. It's going to be for the Jerry. You remember the Tom Jerry, that's the small mouse, yes? I mean, if it's possible for them a small door, yeah, it's possible 2 centimeter something. But if I know that this is impossible to be 2 centimeter, I will question you. I will tell you that why the units you chose it in the drawing is centimeter. You got my point, because I understand that it's impossible to be 2 centimeter because it's a house and it has been meter. So I will just simply change it to meter. And there is no problem. Look, I just simply change it to meter. Nothing gonna happen. Yes, this is still the same. The same measurement, 2.66, but now it's in meter. Why? Because when we're printing them, we have some scaling. We have to have a correct unit. But let's say something else. Let's say you're working in a foot-pound system. Yes, let's say this is inches. Let's say this is inches. Remember, there is close things between them. Let's say you choose feet. Yes. Press OK here. After feet, what we have is the only thing that we have here. Okay, let's go for feet, or let's say feet. Okay. Let's say you drew your drawings with feet. Your feet. Yes. I mean, we know that this distance will be 2.66 feet this time. Now, I cannot question you. Maybe indeed this was in meter, yes? Maybe it's in meter, but I cannot tell you that. You just use a foot-pound system. I mean, it is your decision. I just need to convert this one from a foot-pound system to a metric system. But if I change it from foot-pound system or imperial system to metric system, the distance will no longer be 2.6674. Why? Because this distance, this 2.6674, it is in foot. So if I go to Google, and let's say that if I go to Google and search for, let's say that, because I want to convert this foot meter to meter. So this is where we use scale factor. If you're working in some way, someone else, most probably working with multidisciplinary companies, that they have persons that they draw things, and then they'll send it to you. You can force them to use, for example, one of these system. Let's say they draw with a, so I'm just going for foot to meter. I'm just writing in Google foot to meter. Not forceful to use assets. With any unit they feel comfortable, but you have to know how to convert it from their units to your units. Now look, 1 is equal to how much meter? So the point that I have at the 2.667 whatever what is, that was the unit, and the 2 point, it was 2.6 something. I'm writing. I can guess it. Okay, this door, since they draw it in a feet, 266. It's a bit slow because of the recording. Forgive me. Will give us the, after conversion for feet, it will be 0.8. It will be 80 centimeter. It will be 80 centimeter. So let's say that you have big drawings, the most probably 2D. You will convert the foot to meter. Now you cannot, please pay attention. The drawing dry foot. It is correct. It is the correct drawing units. You just want to convert it for your customers or your technicians to the unit that they understand. But you cannot just simply say, okay, let me change the unit. Let me just go to unit and simply change this one from feet to meter. You cannot do this one. That's not the way that you will convert units. Remember this, please. If the unit that is drawn, used for drawing the object, it is the correct, and you want to change the units for something else, you have to use scale. You have to use scale command. I need you to understand this one. Please do not mix the cases. If you are the one drawing it, it's okay, you can just simply use unit and change the units to whatever you want. But if someone else drawing the object and send it to you and you check the units, then you want to change the unit, please use scale factor to change it, because the guy or person, the engineer who drew the object, most probably he used the correct dimension or units. So you cannot just simply go, let's say, okay, I'm just changing the units from here. This does not work. Okay, this guy used feet, let's change it to meter. That does not work. You have to use a scale factor, because the dimension will change if you change from a unit to another unit. But if you are the guy who's drawing it, if you're the person who's drawing it, it's okay. Before sending it to anyone, make sure you will select the appropriate units before sending it to anyone. You don't need to use a scale for that part. Now I want to convert this one from feet to meter. Yes. Now in Google, I just need 1 feet. 1 feet, this is the scale factor I needed. Look, 1 feet will be this much meter. Yes, this is the scale factor because I'm changing from foot to meter. So I'm using this scale factor 3048. I'm just going to copy this one, 3048. It is the scale factor I'm using. So if this, let me just put the dimension there to understand what do I mean here. Don't mind these dimension things, I will teach you in detail. So I just want to explain for you. Let's say this is in feet. 2.6674 is in feet. So let me just write a feet here. I don't want you to go into these detailing things here, because let's say this is feet. Now we wanna rescale this one. So we're gonna go to home. We can select the object and use scale. Now I can use the geometrical center. If you cannot see this one, you can make sure that you activate geometrical center here, geometric center. So let's say I'm rescaling about the center. So I will click on the center. Now for the scaling factor, I will use 0.33048, which is the scaling. 1 feet is equal to that meter. So if I hit enter, now this 0.8 is no longer feet. Yes, it's no longer feet. This is the meter. Now I can just simply go to unit, because I rescale the objects to meter. Then I can change this one to meters. Press OK. Now yes, this distance, no need even to write this meter there, no need to write this meter because the units are meter. So what did I do? I rescaled the object from an imperial system, which was foot, to a meter. Then I changed the unit, because the engineer before me, he or she used an imperial system to draw the shape. Then I don't want it to deal with foot pound system. I mean the inches, foot, I don't like them. So I want to rescale it to what I will prefer, for example meters. Then I change the units by just typing UN and change it to meter. Now whatever I want to find it here, whatever I'm finding it here will be what? Will be meter. This is basically 0.5486 meter. I need you to know this one. I need you to know this method, how to use this rescaling. Not probably for the... We'll use it later in your life. Once you're working with people, you will realize that unit conversion or rescaling the objects in AutoCAD using scale command will be lifetime saving for you. Instead of redrawing it with your units, you can just simply rescale it to the units that you wanted, and then change the unit. So please do not mix the two cases. If you are the one who draw the shape at the end, you can just select the units and send it to someone else. But before selecting the units, make sure you select the proper unit, because the person that will receive your file will accept the unit as it is. Then they can use the scale commands to rescale it to what they want. So you have to know the difference between them. And then after rescaling them, I change the units to meter. Then whatever now I'm adding to it, for example, whatever I'm adding to it, I will use meter. For example, if I want to add this one, it's 0.1 meter. I can change this one to what? To centimeter now. Yes. Can I change this one to centimeter? Yes. I can scale this one. Scale it. Now from meter to centimeter is what? 100. Yes. I can just simply use 100 as rescaling. 100 as rescaling. Now I change the shape. I change this one to what? This became how much? 81 centimeter now. 81 centimeter. Now whatever I'm adding, whatever I want to draw over here, over this one, will be what? In centimeter. For example, I want to add the circle here, which is, for example, 15 centimeter. 15 centimeter I will add it. So this is, now you understand how the unit basically working, and how to use the scale to convert from one unit to one unit, one unit to one unit. Please remember this. Now for the exam things that I'm asking you, I'm not asking you to do scale for me. Scale is only for yourself in order to use it when you need it. So I needed to understand in both cases how to use the scale and the units, to not mix them. I believe that will be enough for scale. There's examples here, you can check them. For example, 10 meter, 6 meter. I explain how to convert this one, for example, to a feet pound system from meter to feet. I did reverse. You can do it from 1 feet, for example, this one. So you will convert them from meter to feet as well. Thanks for